we are cutting on a horizontal pattern, okay? And that's why it's called horizontal layers. We are bringing everything up at 90 degrees and it's a stationary guide. So I'm going to start at the top and have a small triangle. We're going to be cutting at the top of our comb, but I'm going to have to, somebody pass me their comb so I can, your combs are much bigger than mine. Okay, so you're going to be cutting it at the second notch. So you've got little notches in yours. You're going to be cutting it at the second notch, okay? So on your comb. So we have a little bit of, thank you, we can get a comb. Okay, now, horizontal parting's 1/2 inch, so I'm coming straight across horizontally. My guide is at 90 degrees, and I'm coming straight up the head, and I'm cutting parallel to my parting. So my parting is horizontal, my fingers are horizontal, and I cut straight across. Okay?
That's a lot. This is cut inside.
Yes, this is cut inside. It is layers. Yes. It is making the hair. So each time I'm cutting, I'm coming back to that same point, okay? Because it's a stationary guide.
So the hairs that are lower on our head will be over directed.
Yes, exactly. Now, as I get deeper, after about 3, I'm going to get wider, okay? But I'm not going to, I have to converge because I want to keep holding the same position. So as I come down here and I'm going across, I still comb it all the way up to the top, but what I'm going to be doing is I have to converge the hair together so that I can hold it. So did you see how I converged it very equally? Okay, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. It has to come equally. So what I've done is I've just come together so it's a little bit smaller for my fingers because this is a wide area. So that means that this outside has to come in, but I don't want to do this either. Okay? It has to be flat. We don't want to go past here. This was 90. So we have to pay attention. I don't want to be cutting it like this. It has to come right back here. Okay. My elbows are up and I'm cutting. So what I want you to do is I want you to establish the guide the second notch down, cut it and do 3 sections and bring it to me, and then I will carry on after this. Remember, we don't want to go past here. So that means we will continue. As it gets wider, you're going to converge it together, but not like we did the other haircut where we're squishing it together. We're just combining it together so we can make one complete cut instead of going snip, snip. Because it is more difficult when you take 2 snips. So you don't want to go past your original guide. So be careful that you don't start doing this as you go down the head, because that's over directing. And if you don't stand specifically, one side and the other side will not be even, right? If we're off a little bit by just pushing the hair, that means one side's going to be longer than the other. And that is not a balanced haircut. So we want to make sure. Okay, so as we go down, we are definitely making sure that it's horizontal. So we have to be in front of our parting. We're combing it all the way up. It's a stationary guide. So remember, the hair together, we have to just make it come together, but watch that your fingers don't go up and down. This is where your body position has to be even. And this is why it's so important when you're cutting that your posture be even. Because if not, if we're like this, we're weaker on one side than the other, our haircuts are all going to be lopsided. If our body's lopsided, our haircuts are going to be lopsided. Okay? So as I go down, there's a wider piece of the head, but we still have to make sure that it's horizontally, sorry, all the way up. So I'm stopping before my guide and pushing that hair slowly together so that both sides are even, I come up and I cut. So I want to just push it so I can grab it all. And then I continue.
Can you not let go of some of the thickness that you've already cut? Because it's matching the same guide. So instead of catching all this thick hair, just like catch this.
No, because then you're moving. Okay, so remember it's a stationary guide. I have to hold all of that hair.
Okay.
If I drop some of this and I start moving with each section, it moves.
Right, okay.
So no, you can't do that, but good question. You gotta learn to grab hair. You're gonna have strong fingers by the time you're a hairdresser. Okay, so you want to make sure that everything is nice and neat. And if you notice that I'm not moving my body at all. My feet are like lead balloons. They stay where they're supposed to stay. Notice how I'm parting and I'm not moving my body, so I'm not. Okay? I stay here. I part. I pull up. I part. I pull up. This does not move. That way you're not going to throw the haircut off. Okay? So this haircut is good for people that have fine and medium hair. Not so good with extremely thick hair.
Right, I was wondering because you end up with all your hair
at the bottom. No, it's not. It's not good for people that have really thick hair. So I'm going to keep cutting till I run out of hair. And that will complete that section. So I want you to complete the section and then bring it up to me on the right, okay, before we go. When we're cutting straight lines, again, if our arms are not where they need to be, our line's not going to be that way, right? So if I'm leaning like this, my line's going that way, and I think I'm going straight, but I'm not. Look at my body. My body's not straight, okay? So we have to remember, and again, we've got to use these nice little muscles. Yeah, they hurt you, but they look really good when you use them. They're all nice and toned, okay? And you're going to need them along with, this is going to hurt you the most because we're not used to rotating our arms. Our arms are always down or down at a computer. So we're really not used to using that. So that will get, now we're going to take that guide that we did for this side over to the other side. So I'm going to move my position. I'm going to take a triangle. I'm going to create my guide here. Now I'm going to take this section and take it away. Okay, so I don't want to, this has already been cut. Now I make sure that I'm in front of my section. We're doing it the same way. Now some of you be careful because as we go down, we're going horizontally. We are coming up, so we comb back up. Okay, we comb back up to our original guide. Now, as we got down, some of you stayed here and didn't comb it. Okay, so that's not what I want to see. I want to see it coming all the way back. So it does look, it feels funny because you're over-directing, but that's what I want to see. Every section has to be over-directed to the top of the head, always. So you're combing it up and then converging it, okay? Because what it's going to do is it's going to change the layer. If you don't comb it and make sure that you're here before you cut, it's not going to be even. So as we go down through the section, combing up, making sure it's really white or wet, excuse me. Okay, so I'm always checking that. So it always feels like you're over directing that. You feel like you're going to lose your balance, but you're coming back up to here. Don't go this way, over across the head, but you must move to the original guide. So everything gets combed up. Okay. Elbows out. So when I keep my elbows out, I'm going to keep my panel straight. If I keep my elbows down, my fingers go down. Okay? So, and I know you can all go dancing, and you seem to last all night. I've watched lots of you young ones doing this hip-hop all night.
What is
that? You seem to have lots of strength.
Right,
hip-hop
but
dancing.
is that day in and day out, miss? You can't go partying every day. We go to school every day.
Some do.
Oh, no, that's...
I've met some.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then I don't know about your generation, but my generation, man, they never stayed home. I remember going into a salon, and I looked at them, and I'm like, oh, have you slept today? No, I need some coffee. Before I do my client. Need to get some coffee. Like, oh, boy, you're going to be going today. So, remember, it's all in the mind, okay? So what I want you to do is to take your guide, do 4 sections. Actually, I think it's going to be easier if you cut it this way. So this is going to be easier for you. Okay, so stay on the same side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small guide from what we created here, and now we're going to be going horizontally this way. Okay, so I'm taking the guide from there, and now I'm going to create my guide, because I have to create my guide for the front section. Okay. So I'm coming straight up. So there's my center, there's my guide, and there's my section I'm going to cut. Okay. I take this and I move forward, and I now pull this up and I cut. Yes, it'll take 3 sections. Once you've done that, you can comb that away. You don't need that anymore. And then you're going to take it. It's a stationary guide, so you're going to be doing horizontal. And you're going to be coming up. So you're going to be taking 2 sections now.
So you don't want to converge these?
No, you will not be converging these. Horizontal, don't do diagonal, straight across. So my body's not moving, right? I'm in front of my section. Divide it into half, combing it all the way back. Just straight up the head form. And again, my fingers are horizontal. Keep this clipped out of the way so you don't grab the other hair.
Over-directing.
Over-directing to the center, right? And that completes that section. Okay, so do your guide and 2 more.